Want to be on camera? Hey, how's it going everyone? Alex with the World of Asian channel, and behind us is our 10-gallon shallow aquarium that we built for some rice fish. Now, if you're new here, I had a build video for this and I did not actually add the fish. So if you want to see the original build video for this, definitely go check that out in the link in the description below. But if you've been following along, this is the entry to which we will now put some fish in here. So thank you everyone who watched the first video. It's doing really well and a lot of people seem to really enjoy it. So I greatly appreciate that. And yeah, we're gonna keep it going, and we have a checklist of things that I want to do with this aquarium, and then we're gonna go ahead and introduce our wonderful rice fish that we actually have in our holding tank over here. As you can see, there's a sponge filter in there and there's some tannins in there, and they've just been chilling in there, and I've been keeping an eye on them and just kind of seeing how they're doing. And I think they're about ready. So if you hear any screaming, I do apologize. I am currently looking after a toddler here. This is Major's sister, Minnie. But she's been doing really good here actually. And Major has been very, very welcoming, and they've both been doing great together. She's still learning the prospect, or she's still learning the concept of boundaries. She has all the energy in the world. Major does not, because he's older, obviously. So real quick, let me go over the list of plants that we have in here right now. Hygrophila angustifolia, Anubias nana golden, Anubias nana petite, Crypt wentii brown, Taiwan moss, and then most notably, variegated sweet flag up top. And if you don't have access to variegated sweet flag, pretty much any sweet flag plant should work for this type of aquarium. So Japanese sweet flag, golden sweet flag. These are all plants that do really well in really stagnant and boggy water. So any sweet flag plant for the most part will work pretty well. So first things first, the flow on this Awaze Biocompact is very slow. And I don't think it's sufficient enough to aerate this tank. So let's go ahead and address this. I should mention I'm also changing the water real quick. Woo! That's dirty. These filters are normally pretty quick, but this filter was pretty gunked up. Alright, so we have a slight change in plans here. Originally I was just going to clean up the sponge and then kind of just run it back in there. But you know what I'm going to do actually is instead of putting the sponge back in, we're actually going to use filter media. Alright, so the main reason why I did that was because I just kind of wanted to rinse it off. Brand new filter media can be kind of chalky and it can cloud up your water sometimes. So using this filter media that you see here is going to allow me to still run this filter and get a little bit of mechanical filtration, but ultimately we're still going to be able to maintain that surface area that we want in a filter for beneficial bacteria to be able to colonize. But when you use coarse filter media like this, it prevents your filter from getting gunked up and potentially stop working, right? Now, when you use filter media as a direct replacement for sponge filter, you are less likely to have your filter get gunked up. The main caveat being you're going to have more detritus in your aquarium, and you might see more particulate matter kind of floating around. Now, obviously, since we're doing a natural river style aquarium, I simply do not care. There are some people out there, you know, who are in the ADA crowd, or you know, they have like these really nice aquarium setups, super high tech, and maybe they don't want that particulate matter flying around everywhere and they want it crystal clear. But for the sake of an aquarium like this, where we're trying to replicate nature one-to-one, I don't care if there's a little bit of dirt flying around. I mean, like, why would I care? Now, I should mention, obviously, when we just completely dish a sponge filter and then fill this up with filter media, we are losing all the beneficial bacteria that was once in here. And normally, I wouldn't consider this a good practice to do all at once, especially if you're running a larger filter. And furthermore, if your aquarium was dependent on a larger filter. But this aquarium is there is so much surface area, and I consider this to be rather marginal when we're considering the vast amount of surface area that encompasses this 10-gallon shallow. And also when you factor in all the botanicals that are in here, I'm simply not worried about this being a cause for concern. So there's my reasoning. Okay, so I am slowly filling this aquarium back up, just letting the water drip down the driftwood here. Try to disturb the substrate as least as possible. This kind of has me thinking though, I think this would look really cool if we had a waterfall in here or something. Alright, the water change has been completed. The filter head is now working as intended. As you can see, it's a lot clear, or a lot more clear on the top now because there's no biofilm. There's actually surface agitation. I think this filter might be on its way out. It was making some weird noises earlier. It was going like ree, 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 you know, like the beginning of that one Aerosmith song. So this is looking really good in my opinion, but there's a few more things that we need to do. So Taiwan moss, every time you plant it in a new place, it's always going to get these brown crispy bits. You know, it might, whether it's transplant shock or it's kind of drying up. I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up. And this will just kind of stimulate a lot of new growth as well. So the cool thing about Taiwan moss is usually the brown bits of it are not actually dead. It's just kind of dormant. So when I trim it, I just let it fall into the water. And this will result in just big patches of Taiwan moss in the water. And this is something that I've been doing for a while now. If you watch me, or if you watch my column cube series, formerly my desk cube, you'll know that I do this all the time. I just let it drop into the water, and then before you know it, you have big bushes of moss in the water column that you can either keep in there or use for other projects. So what's next is I want to add more coverage on the top of the water here to give the rice fish a better sense of security, because Medaka rice fish come from East Asia, most prominently Japan, and they live in rice paddies where there's lots of coverage. So I think it's only appropriate that we do that here. We are here at the infamous column cube, formerly known as the desk cube, because in my last place it was a desk, and then I moved it to this new house, and now it's in a column. And that's why I call it the column cube. This is probably one of my favorite aquariums of all time. I love this thing. Anyway, on the top of this little cube resides some Salvinia minima, so we're gonna go ahead and take some. And we also have some Salvinia and some red root floaters that we can take from our rummy nose tank as well. Alright, let's go ahead and add the Salvinia in here. Let it sort itself out. And this should grow very quickly. Salvinia struggles with other plants, I feel like, but when it's the only floating plant, it does really well. Well everyone, I think the time has finally come. We're gonna go ahead and put the rice fish in the 10-gallon shallow. They've been chilling in this 5-gallon temporary holding tank for quite some time. I'm not gonna lie, I've actually really been enjoying the way that this looks. This is just a temporary tank, and I have a bunch of botanicals in here, a bunch of alder cones and twigs and swamp grass, and the rice fish are just straight chilling in there. We have an Amazon sword in a pot, and this has been my temporary aquarium, and I actually really love the way it looks. Well everyone, it has been about 2 days since we have added the rice fish in this 10-gallon shallow, and they're all doing pretty good. I don't know if you can see them now. Well, there's one of them. Oh, there's another. It's a 10-gallon shallow, obviously, so unlike a cube, they have a lot of room to swim back and forth and forward and back, and it's been really fun to watch. And because it's a shallow, you can look at them with ease from the top. So I really love standing right here and just looking downwards. It's just very, very serene and peaceful to look at. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and again, I greatly appreciate everyone who showed interest in the first one where we built this aquarium If you haven't seen that video yet, and you for some reason watched this entire video without seeing the original build video, check out the link in the description below. I'll be sure to link it. But thank you everyone for your interest in this series. I'll definitely be sure to keep this up. I'll keep documenting it, and every time we make some notable changes or see notable changes with growth and whatnot, I'll be sure to document. It's been a good time, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.